with. I am your host, Sainabu Jany, and with me in the studio, I have an interesting young man. And I say interesting because of his name. He'll tell you more about that, but we'll do nothing but go into the interview and find out more about Abdoulie D. Ba and how he started. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Sino, for having me.
You're welcome. So before we find out about his name, we'll go for a short break, and when we return, the show continues.
Coffee With is proudly sponsored by Jar Oil Company Limited. Jar Oil Company, the Gambia's largest and leading dealer in petroleum products. Jar Oil's petroleum products are of the highest quality and the best in the country. Our unbeatable prices guarantees you a give back on every liter purchase in any of our stations conveniently located near you and in all regions of the country. Besides our petroleum products, Jar Oil offers a one-stop shop for your shopping needs. From basic commodities like rice, sugar, flour, cooking oil to the finest and affordable jar gas bottle products, and cleanest and hygienic jar water products packaged as per health guidelines. Jar Oil Company offers these commodities in its stations for your convenience. At Jar Oil, every client is a priority. We are truly yours and proud to serve you even better. And guess what? Special offer from Jar available for bulk buyers. Yes, for bulk buyers and retailers of our petroleum products. Jar Oil is your most reliable partner.
So welcome to the program, Abdoulie D. Ba. So tell us about your name. Why the D? What does it mean?
Anyway, I am Abdoulie Diba. I would say Abdoulie Dasagame Ba.
You see?
I'm from Kombo Dasagame. And
Okay.
I love Dasagame so much. So that's why I would say I'm Abdoulie Diba, and the D means Dasagame.
Okay.
Yep.
And is that because also there was a lot of Abdoulies in your school, maybe?
Yeah, it started like that. Actually, we had, many Abdoulies Ba in our class. So we had Abdoulie Eba, Biba, and D. Initially, the D had no meaning, because we were so many Abdoulies. So then I put a meaning to it, meaning Dasagame. But coincidentally also, my dad was D, but that was never intended at that time when I was having the D. But I will jokingly say I am Abdoulie Dasagame Ba.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and now it is carried on, and we're here, Abdoulie D. Ba. So it's not even like a Dembo or Demba, but it's Dasalam.
Dasagame.
Very
the meaning
interesting.
I've given it to.
Yeah, this is why I said he's a very interesting young man. So tell us about yourself. What were you into before you became the executive director of Africa Youth Entrepreneurship Academy?
Yep, that's it. I was born in Kombo Dasagame. That's where I come from. And then I grew up there as a young man. As a boy, I attended St. Patrick Basic School. That's where I started my educational journey. Then we moved from Dasagame. We settled in Bruce V. Kama. And I attended Brufut Upper Basic School. Then from there, I went to, Bruce V. Senior Secondary School. I completed my education from there, and then I moved on to the University of the Gambia, where I'm currently pursuing a bachelor's in accountancy.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, interesting. So tell us about your childhood. What was it like growing up as a young Abdoulie D. Ba?
I think I have the best childhood memories.
Oh, nice. Share with us.
Yeah, I was born in a multicultural community.
Okay.
In Dasagame, we have a lot of ethnic groups in Dasagame. I understand that we had firstly, the Mandinkas and the Karoninkas that settled, and they are relatives, So it went to an extent that you will go into a Karoninka home, you ask them speaking Mandinka as if is a Mandinka home. So that's the community that I live in. So the Fula community was a minority community there in Dar es Salaam, you know. So we interacted with different ethnic groups. So, you know, I was able to speak different languages when I was young. I spoke Karoninka, you know. I spoke Mandinka, even though we didn't have much of Wolof, but we tried speaking Wolof too. So that's the community it was. And it was an interesting community because each of these ethnic groups settled in their own areas. So we had like Furakunda, where the Furas are. We have Mandinka side, where the Mandinkas are. And then we have Enterprise, where the Karoninkas are. And down we have a place we call down, and that's where the Joras are.
Okay.
So it was very interesting growing up there. You know, I have a lot of memories of my childhood, and even yesterday I was with some of my childhood friends, and we were reminding each other how we're going to go get kaba, you know, go to follow the cattle, because it's our culture, it's our tradition. For us, we do follow cattle. So it was definitely an amazing journey, you know, and I always reflect on those things. And thinking of the family I came from, because what happened, I lost both my mom and dad when I was very young.
Wow, sorry.
You know, I lost my mom in 2004, and my dad was in 2003. So I had experience of living in different places. Because what happened when my mom passed away, I lived with my grandma. My grandma passed away. Then I was taken to one of my cousin brothers who had, you know, this traditional dara. So we used to live there with different people that came from different places to settle there to attend that dara, Islamic education. So that's where I also have my background in Islamic education. You know, I was there until my uncle returned, because what happened when my dad passed away, our uncle adopted us.
Okay.
So then he was in the UK. Then when he came back, you know, he bought his house in Kuzubi, Urinkama. We went there and we settled there, and then life was much better compared to what we experienced back days in Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
But even though Dar es Salaam was more interesting.
Yeah, because you have various cultures there, so you kind of live a life of you know, the Mandinkas or the Fulas or the Wolofs or, you know, the Syrians. So it was mixed, so which is nice. So now tell us how you landed the position as the executive director at IA.
Okay, that's interesting. You know, when I was growing up, I always had one thing in me. That is how I can strive to build institutions. Because what I've realized when I was young and growing up, what I've seen is people developing themselves, but institutions were left. I always had these feelings in me. So that is why, since I was young, I've engaged in so many activities, you know, that will enable me to build my capacity, build my confidence, communication skills. You know, since during primary school days, I'd involved in peace clubs, you know, in the, you know, different organizations that we are in school.
Yeah.
So this is it, and I had the spirit. And one of the organizations that built me and molded me was one organization we call Bawiga Youth Organization. It's a family organization, but we engage in a lot of activities, you know. So it built me, it molded me, and it gives me a platform where, you know, I showcase what I could do. You know, I used to act drama.
Wow.
You understand? I used to act drama for one organization called Fubi Africa.
Okay.
You know, their 4th, 2nd, and 3rd anniversary, you know, we used to act drama for them on behalf of our organization, that's the Bawiga Youth Organization. So this is how it becomes. So I also involved in youth work, like any other young person you know here.
Yeah.
You know, we engaged with the peace ambassadors, you know, we went on a, you know, summer school in Dakar, you know, we engage in these things. So as we are going, during these sessions, events and workshops and seminars, we have people that come to speak to us.
Yeah.
They inspire us. You know, one of the great inspirations I have is my elder brother, Sambaba. You know, he was one time the Speaker of the National Youth Parliament. You know, he was a lecturer at the University of the Gambia. Then he went to Ohio. He's currently, you know, pursuing his PhD there at the Ohio University. So he was a source of inspiration for me.
Nice.
Because I see myself in him. You know, I see the little me in him. I said to myself, one day I want to become like Samba.
Yeah.
So this is how it all started. Then IA actually was found in 2019.
Okay.
So what happened, it was during the 3rd Pan-African Youth Conference organized by the African Youth Commission here in Banjul. You know, they brought together more than 400 young people across Africa.
Yeah.
So this event was very successful. And then I was working for an accounting firm that were the auditors for the AYC.
All right.
So during, you know, the report of the audit report and all of that, we had interactions with young people. I was always passionate about entrepreneurship. So we ask each other questions. What are the challenges that young entrepreneurs are faced with in your area? And they will tell us. And these are the same challenges that young entrepreneurs are facing here in Gambia and Senegal. So we discuss about this and we say, why not we come with an institution, an organization that will be pan-African? Because what happened, we have this organization. We have Gambia, we have our organization. In Senegal, we have organization. But I didn't know of any pan-African youth organization that deals strictly in entrepreneurship. So with the chats with our friends that we met there, one of them was Abdoulie from Senegal, and another was Christina from Kenya. So this is how all the idea of IA comes together. When they went home, we exchanged emails. We met few times in Dakar. We discussed about the entire issue. This is it. And I was always hesitant to take positions. I could remember one of my mentors once told me, he said, everybody has faults in them. None of us is complete. Everyone have a fault in them. But the most exposed are the leaders because they have the platform.
Yeah.
You understand? When it comes to speaking, many people have problems in speaking. But why is an individual known for not being a good speaker is because he has a platform. Yeah. If another person had that platform also, we will know their weaknesses in that. So I was always hesitant. But, they pushed me, they encouraged me. They told me the original idea came from you. So when you have a vision, there is nobody that can read the vision like the person who originated the vision. Indeed. So this is how, they encourage me. Then firstly, we agreed that we are all not going to have a position. We're going to have an central executive board. So we were part of the central executive board. Until recently, they said an organization cannot move without a leader. Then they encouraged me and advised me to be a leader. But even though I'm this executive director, I think the central executive, which I am a member of, helps me a lot. And, I must commend them for their good job.
Nice. Yeah. So this is how IA came about and has now become, a very strong organization that is actually getting ready for their second seminar. So you're actually working towards building younger entrepreneurs into business, which is interesting. We'll talk about that later. But then as a young man, what has IA done for you? What is the organization done for you differently?
Yep. IA was a whole different feeling for me because I have engaged and involved in a lot of youth work with a lot of different activities. But one inspiration or one changes that IA had impacted in me was that I always had the notion that I want to impact a change in my community. Nice. But I never had the notion that I want to impact not only my community, my country, my subcontinent, my continent, and the world at large. I never had that inspirations. I never thought I would once go to Senegal, engage with young entrepreneurs, speak to them, market or sell the idea of IA to them, engage with youth of Ghana, due to the COVID restrictions, we had a lot of online sessions from young people across Africa. You understand? This thing have molded me differently because I was preparing myself for my community. Yeah. But because of IA now, I have to prepare myself for the group. Because IA has gone to the extent that, we are not as big as we are branded anyway. Sometimes, so, yeah, we are just trying to come up. But, people have confidence in us. We are called in platform in different, African countries, and we have participated in many activities in Africa. So there is this particular feeling that it puts in me that is like a removal of an obstacle that was like limitations. I had limitations. I was thinking I want to impact my community, this and this. But, IA told me somehow you cannot only impact your community, but you can impact, your nation, your subcontinent, which is West Africa, and your continent, which is Africa, and the globe at large.
Indeed, indeed. Because the name, you maybe you belittle the name in regards to how you've, viewed the organization. But when you hear Africa Youth Entrepreneurship Academy, that's big. Yeah. So, it'll be nice to know how your organization, how your academy is different from other academies, which is trying to support young people in entrepreneurship. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So firstly, let me discuss about the name because it's very interesting. Yeah. Firstly, when we had the idea, we said, okay, we want to have a name. So, I could remember, the lady from Kenya, Christine, she said, no. He said, think about something local from your nation. something, a word, anything word from your ethnic groups there, and let's name it that. And another person said, no, and it's gonna sound Gambian. You understand?
Yeah.
They said we needed something that represented Africa. At some point, because he was the only person from East Africa, all the other people we engaged with, we are young people of West Africa. And then we said, why not we have, the West African whatsoever we can have. Then see, the one from Kenya said, no, you guys are kicking me out of the equation.
Of course.
So then we come with African Youth Entrepreneurship Academy. It's big. It's bigger than what we are right now.
Yeah.
But we are working towards a vision.
Great.
And what we are working towards is a 10-year project. That is to have an established academy that builds the capacity of young entrepreneurs in Africa and prepare young people who want to become entrepreneurs, to become great entrepreneurs in the future. Because what happens, you see, young people that have started business, have faced a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
So we are collecting those informations. What are the challenges that they have faced? So these aspiring entrepreneurs that they are coming, we are using those challenges to prepare them so they will not have those mistakes that these young entrepreneurs had when they were growing.
Nice.
That is development. So, the African Youth Entrepreneurship Academy is different in a lot of ways. Like I have said earlier, I didn't know of any Pan-African youth organization that is key in the areas of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I don't know of any. So for the fact that we bring together young entrepreneurs from different countries, they learn from each other entrepreneurially. They discuss, and we had some entrepreneurs who had limitations that, like I had, they thought they could only make a market in the Gambia.
Yeah.
But IA is trying to make it possible for them to have a market, across West Africa.
Indeed.
And in the future in Africa. That is what we want, because our first edition for the IA seminar was in partnership with IA Senegal. We brought IA Senegal here. They came with their members. IA Gambia, they interacted, they networked, they discussed, and as a result, so many development has come. So this is, I think, IA is very unique and different in so many ways. So, like I always said, we had different institutions or organizations in this country, but the reality is there is no one institution or organization that can achieve to tackle youth unemployment in Gambia or in Africa. It's not possible.
Indeed.
You understand? We are all here, and we are all working towards the same goal. You understand? But we have different strategies to go by this. So that is why we share this mutual respect amongst ourselves, different players within the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Even though we are one of the youngest, we respect every one of them. Every one of them respect us, and we have our strategies how to go about this. And when we meet as implementing partners, we discuss our strategies and we move on.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that sounds very good. I'm very pleased and proud of your team and the fact that you have different branches in other countries, within Africa. So today is International Youth Day, and the theme this year is transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. See, that theme, I believe, is important. Because we always talk about eat what you grow and grow what you eat, and we're young people. So when you hear this theme, what does it bring to you? How do you feel?
Yeah. This make me the theme this year makes me to stand far more on entrepreneurship advocacy. Because what happened, the entire world, almost everywhere you go, we are faced with youth unemployment. And entrepreneurship is the only sustainable means to tackle youth unemployment everywhere in Africa.
Indeed.
You understand? So that is why when we have teams like that, it's when us go back to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's the solution. Government cannot absorb everybody. All these private firms cannot absorb everybody. We need young people, you understand, with innovative ideas. And they are supported by, players within the entrepreneurship ecosystem.
Yep.
So they can have their businesses and go. So the team getting people back to the land, which, I think is the solution.
Indeed.
Like one of the I read this from a particular book, but I am not certain right now. But it says you will never, gain independence except that you are in control of what you eat.
True. That's very true.
You understand? So we need teams like this and make the youth aware. people are running away from agriculture. I don't know why. I wish I
don't
studied
know
agriculture,
either. It's so important.
Yeah, it's so important. And, we have young entrepreneurs amongst us. One of them is Omar Jabang. Oh, I think you once had
I have had him on the platform.
Yeah, on the platform. So he's studying agriculture at the university. You understand? And he has his business. He has this local dugura that he's making. And this, he's creating employment opportunities for himself and for other people.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think it's high time that we recognize entrepreneurship as a very important key area. You understand? An area of studies, an area, people don't see even entrepreneurship as a career.
Nope.
Which is very sad. There is no institution in this country that offer entrepreneurship as a course. You go to the university, you don't have it there.
No, it's just that Emprotech, they offer it as a sub-course, but then that's for if you want to get into business. But I think you're right, it should be inculcated in the curriculum. It's important. And that's one thing I believe isn't really pushed.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, and then again skills. But now I guess they're getting better.
Yeah, they get it better. Definitely, we have to work fully towards that. We need programs, because what happened? Some of these trainings that we are giving as current young entrepreneurs, they are mostly introductory.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think it should be deeper. The education and the guidance and whatsoever we need to grow as young entrepreneurs. You understand? It should, people should involve more.
Yeah.
And inculcate it in our systems.
Indeed.
And recognize it as a career.
Yes.
As an area of focus. So we will grow and tackle youth unemployment. I believe because of youth unemployment that we having a lot of crime rates.
That's true. That is very true.
A lot of this back way. You see what IOM is doing now. You understand? How many lives has IOM changed?
A lot. They've changed a lot of lives.
A lot of lives.
Yeah.
So I think, and how do they change it? They change it mainly through entrepreneurship. So I think that is why, it's important. And for the fact that we have the word innovation also on the team, which is very, very
it's
good.
very important.
Because entrepreneurship also go in line with innovation. Because what happened, the world is evolving, it's changing. So as an entrepreneur also, you have to find modern ways of,
innovating your product or your idea.
The idea, to have, target clients or customers.
Indeed. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. So now, this is our second to last question, and it's about your opinion. What do you think needs to be done further to help support young people and their businesses?
That's a very great question. For me, being an entrepreneurship advocate, I've dealt with so many entrepreneurs, and I remember I had an interview elsewhere, I cannot remember, was the impact of COVID, on small businesses. Yeah. And what I told them was, every business is affected in a different way.
Yeah.
There are certain businesses who are operating online. So they didn't face the challenges of what some other entrepreneurs were facing. Because I had some people who said to me that they could not make a lot of sales.